So, I want to talk about roleplay groups, I guess, for a little bit, and sort of a guide to them, and I might ramble a little bit about my experience. So basically, you have to start somewhere, and starting is probably the hardest part, especially if you haven't done it ever, which was me, which obviously, well, it's everybody at one point if you're getting into roleplay. Also, I should mention, this is mainly going to be Deviant or roleplay groups, because those are what I sort of joined, and what I'm in a few. Well, I'm only in one. No, I'm in two. I'm an admin of one, and then I'm just a part. I'm just one of the participants in another. I burped. Well, okay then. Sorry about that. So, getting started. Well, first of all, you need to find a group that you're interested in. One, don't just join another group. Actually, make sure you want to be in this group. Because the first group I wanted to be, one and two, was a group. It was pretty cool. They were pretty cool about it. They were chill. And so I joined that group. And my character for the first group was pretty much a Mary Sue. But not the Mary Sue you would think is a Mary Sue. She didn't have any neon, crazy colors or anything. She just wore a vest, a skirt, some thigh highs, and had cool hair I liked drawing, and had a hairstyle. Well, it's a hairstyle I've never drawn before, but I liked anyways. And I want to draw her more because I still like her design. But her actual character was pretty much a Mary Sue. Was a Mary Sue, so that was something. Because, well, eventually I did manage to fix her enough that she wasn't as Mary Sue as she was before, but this group had a chat that we did. And in this chat, I would go God mode way too much. But I was 13 or 14, I don't remember, when I was in this group. I was only for a year or so. It was only for it was about a year that I was in this group. Or maybe less, I don't remember. It wasn't that long, is what I'm trying to say. And when I joined, they didn't have any application checks, which some of you might know that, but they didn't have any application checks or anything like that. So you just joined, and yeah, then you just joined. Obviously, they criticized me because I did some really embarrassing stuff that I don't want to talk about. I don't think that application exists anymore. Well, at least the part that was really embarrassing I took out anyway, so you wouldn't be able to see it. But, just, that is this. It's not there. It's not here anymore, and you can't find it. But it was really embarrassing, and I don't want to talk about it. So, basically, yeah, you gotta start somewhere, and you're probably not going to be very good at it. And I would also suggest choosing a roleplay group, that doesn't have application checks, but that's really hard to find. And I understand why, because they want to make sure they don't get any character. They want to make sure their characters actually fit the universe. And that's completely fine. But if it's your first time, either find a roleplay group that your friends are in, or find a roleplay group that either has very lenient application checks, which is kind of hard to do, or find a roleplay group that, or find a roleplay group that doesn't have application checks. The roleplay group that I'm thinking of, there are two in mind, one that doesn't and one that has very light application checks, so I'm not going to say who they are. but basically, okay, so yeah, application checks are a thing that's going to happen. So basically, find a group like that and have that be your first experience with roleplay groups, because usually that's one of the better ones, because it's a lot more relaxed. Usually you can tell by how they do application checks whether or not the group's going to be relaxed. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes you'll get into so many groups that you just have too much stuff going on and that you can't handle as many groups. Like, at one point in time, I was like in like 4, and because of me wanting to pursue comics, I could only be in like 1 or 2, depending on how relaxed they are about characters. Now I haven't actually done any comics, so I have a comic, I'm just working on it, and so I need a roleplay group that can be flexible to that. And just recently, the roleplay group that I'm in, currently, the big one that I'm in, I've been in for like a year now, it's a Pokemon Deviant group. I think that's how you say that. It's changing their style of how they do application checks and all that to make it more welcoming to people. So if you find it's on my DeviantArt page, so you should be able to find it. And you can just click around and all there's like only 2 roleplay groups that I'm in right now. One, my friend is me and them are adminning it, and you should check out. It's called Mysterium Network, and we're not open yet, but you should check it out. Because we need people watching and we need members. So if you got a DeviantArt account, check out that roleplay group and join once it's open. I'm an admin of it, so I don't know if we're gonna have app checks or not, but if we aren't, perfect for the first time roleplay group. So basically, self-promo. Once, like, obviously abstracts are going to happen, but once you get experience with it, at least to some extent role-playing in a roleplay group, sometimes they'll be more interactive than others. You also have to be aware of that. Sometimes they'll be very, not stale, but they'll be like, you have to do a lot of the work yourself, like finding people to roleplay with. The reason you join a roleplay group is to roleplay with people, obviously, and sometimes you have to do a lot of work with that. Like, you have to do a little more push. And sometimes people will want to roleplay with you, but that's usually not a thing. But sometimes they're just more art roleplay groups, like, you just mainly do art for the group, then you do roleplay. That's sort of what Mysterium Network is. But, you know, it's also fun to, it is a role-play group, so obviously role-playing is kind of a thing that you can do. So, yeah, but once you get more, like, experience with role-play groups, then you could probably join role-play groups that have more strict application checking. And, like, those are a little harder to join because, you know, strict application checking is hard to get by because there's so many things you have to fill, and at the same time, it's kind of hard to do it because you know what they want, but sometimes it's hard to give them exactly what they want, because the thing is, it's still your character. There's still certain things that you want to do with them, and you don't want to take it out because it's actually kind of important to the character, but it's becoming a problem for the roleplay group. I've had experiences like this, and sometimes you just can't have the character there. You just can't use the character at all, and yeah. But, you know, sometimes you do get into groups like that, and that's sort of what the Junior League group was before, and I was super happy to even have the character get in because I was kind of like, my second character I tried to get into there didn't make it in because she was just becoming too much trouble for me to keep editing, because she just wasn't working as I wanted her to. And so, yeah. So, now interacting in a roleplay group. sometimes they will be more interactive. Sometimes they won't be. Sometimes you have to do the pushing, and that's something that happens sometimes. And that's okay. Sometimes you just don't want to do any pushing, and that's completely fine too. Don't ever feel obligated to roleplay just because you're in a roleplay group. Like, if you just want to draw your character a bunch, then draw your character a bunch. No one's stopping you. Although it is fun to roleplay, I will admit that. But no one's gonna really care if you just draw your character a bunch, because that's mainly what I did anyways. In every roleplay thing I did, which isn't a lot. Which is a lot, but it's not a lot. It's complicated. So, yeah. And sometimes they'll have, like, chats and stuff every once in a while, or, you know, have a schedule, and you can just join whenever. And that's always nice to have that option. Those kind of roleplay groups are a little more interactive and such like that, and those are fun to join just because, although they are hard, they are rare. Let me say this right now. If you are thinking you are going to find a roleplay group that has a chat on a schedule, that is a rare occurrence, and whenever you do, if they have a super chill, like, application check or whatever, just get into it, because it's an experience that you're gonna want, because I feel like in a way that sort of helped me interact with people online better. It's kind of strange, but yeah, that's a thing. But you know, it's an experience that I would say everybody in the roleplay community should, if they have the option to, try. Just try it and see how you like it. Because not everybody likes roleplaying with a bunch of people. I personally do. It's kind of hard to do it with my friends though, because all of us have different experiences with roleplaying, and so it's a little hard at times to do that. Yeah, but also, even if you're in a roleplay group that doesn't have like a chat, don't be afraid to talk to people, because I know for a fact that one of my good friends right now, we met through the Jinko roleplay group, Pokemon roleplay group, and we just kind of become friends, because of it, and it's been really great. So now here's the thing that I'm probably sure you're gonna wonder, and if you're like me, you're gonna be like, should I do this? Now, if you're in too many roleplay groups at once, sometimes it's hard to quit them. And I understand that. I understand that completely. Because, you know, either you put a lot of time and effort in this roleplay group, or you didn't. Some of them, I barely did anything with my character in them, just because I was busy. And also, drawing now takes a little more time.